Did you pray with them people up there at that pole today?
They're very,
You know
very
what they
smart
was,
people.
I've done some things out there, but one of the
Really
prayers
was
being
surprised
answered.
that people would take on that risk. But
The respect is that I've got one turn.
no, it's not nuts. I don't
Yes.
think it's nuts. It's close to it. Yes, sir.
Sure you run on a ticket. Now,
I didn't know it was gonna be that quick.
over there with those lots. You know, I'm not really, it's not a ticket item for me. You know, people take.
All right, good evening and welcome to tonight's meeting of the Yancey County Board of Commissioners. I want to welcome everyone who's in attendance and also everyone watching on our live stream. I am going to remind everyone that it is election day for the primary, so if you haven't voted, please go vote tonight before 7 o'clock. We're going to begin our meeting tonight with the invocation. I'm going to ask Reverend Johnny Williams to come to the podium. And as he's coming up, I'm going to ask you if you will remember our troops that are serving overseas currently in war, if you'll remember those in prayer.
Let's pray together. Lord, as we come into your presence tonight, we thank you for the opportunity to speak to you. We thank you for the opportunity to speak to you on behalf of this Board of County Commissioners for Anson County. And Lord, as we've been reminded by all that we've seen on TV the last few days, that our troops are performing a duty that has been called upon them. And we ask, Lord, that you'd protect them. We pray, Lord, that this measure that they're taking will be soon accomplished and that they will be able to go back to regular duties. Lord, it concerns us sometimes when we see these things happen in the world in which we live, but we know that you taught your disciples in the Olivet Discourse that when we see things like this, wars and rumors of wars, that it's just the beginning of sorrows. It's the birth pangs, the announcements that the time is coming soon when you will return. And Lord, we look forward to that day. Now we ask, Lord, that you'll be with the meeting tonight for every one of our commissioners and the other faculty that's here, that you would give them wisdom and guidance as they look over the business of Anson County. We pray for all those that are in attendance at the meeting that might be introducing business of some kind. We pray, Lord, that your will would be accomplished and that we would praise you for all of the results. And Lord, we again thank you for this day and the opportunity to be here. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
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 Thank you, Reverend Williams, for that.
Yes.
All right, this time we will have our Pledge of Allegiance by Mr. Sossman.
Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you for that, Mr. Sossman. We're going to begin tonight with our approval of the agenda. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So move. I have a conflict.
Okay. All right, Mr. Mims is asking to be recused from item 7A on the agenda. So with that recusal, we have a motion to approve the agenda as presented. We had a second by Commissioner Little Reed. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, moving on to consent agenda. A few items there, so I'll entertain a motion to approve those.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Gatewood, second by Commissioner Mims. Any discussion on those? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, down to appearances. First we have our HR manager and our finance director.
I think what they're here to do is, I know there's some discussion about this past payroll. And I can say right now that nobody got paid. I mean, everybody did get paid on Friday. Some people have been accustomed because of credit unions, and we've got two of them. We've got State Employees Credit Union as well as the local federal credit union. They lots of times will post paychecks on Thursday. I have mine deposited at my Wells Fargo account. Sometimes it shows as pending on Thursday. It always shows up on Friday, which is by ordinance that we have, is when it's due. But both our Ms. Ingram and from HR, as well as Ms. Martinez Borgia from Finance are here. If you've got any specific questions about why it happens, I mean, all banks because I've been on the bank board in a previous life, and that bank, Wax Madison, has a branch here, URA Bank. They had a subsidiary called Cabarrus Bank and Trust when I lived in Concord, and I was on that board. And they all do things differently. But I do know the two credit unions lots of times will post on a Thursday. As a matter of fact, I have heard, I don't know the name of the bank, it's an esoteric bank, a small one, but they sometimes post on Wednesday, which is when payroll is usually entered into our system.
Okay.
But,
Let them go.
okay. All right, ladies.
Good evening, board.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So as Mr. Salson was saying, it really depends on the bank. We don't control what bank, pulls in. A lot of times we don't even know who banks with who. We do know the credit union because some of us up here bank with the credit union. Cash App, it also deposits it on Wednesday. So we don't really know who gets theirs when. Once we hit submit, that's it from there. But the payroll always goes in on Friday. It's actually part of the ordinance, and if you guys need that, I also brought that with you. The last day that we could truly process payroll, which we don't like wait until last minute, is Thursday, because if we did Thursday, then of course no one would get their pay early. But we typically post on Wednesdays and submit everything. And that Wednesday, it actually was a larger payroll than usual. So it was submitted Wednesday, it was submitted on time, and it's just the way the banks pulled it in. It's just some deposits didn't hit until Thursday, and then the majority of them hit on Friday, when normally most employees will see it on Wednesday or Thursdays.
Okay, so every employee was paid on Friday according to the personnel ordinance.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so, Mr. Woodburn?
And I'd just like to mention as a concern, I may be way out in left field, but, and I think Paylocity worked pretty good up to now, but to have two back-to-back issues like that, my thinking is maybe we need to investigate going to somebody else. And, matter of fact, I would make that as a motion at this time. Not that it's got to be rushed, but I think it should be investigated.
I'd second that motion.
Third and fourth at two.
Okay. Because my question would be, if things were placed in at the normal time we normally do it. I know all banks process things differently. Some banks do it 2 days early, some a day early, and then some just the day of whatever that day is. But on whatever day you all normally do it, you put it in at the same time that you normally do?
No, so it's different times, because it all depends on, like, if we run into issues. Like that Wednesday, I did run into several issues. We had the elections pay that has to be entered manually, and then also had the overtime that had to be calculated from the state of emergency, in addition to the regular payroll changes that has to be updated and monitored. So it was a little bit larger payroll than usual, and then plus it's not something that I do on a regular basis.
That's
so
what I was going to ask you. So do you enter payroll in regularly?
No, sir, I don't. Miss Martinez, she was actually on vacation, so I was filling in. So, because of course we all want to get paid, so I was filling in so it would get processed for us.
So in other words, we don't have anybody cross-trained to just really step in there and go
Right.
ahead and do it then. That's what it sounds like. I may be wrong.
Other than myself, no. Just
So,
me.
no,
That's another thing.
yeah. So we kind of need someone probably in finance. I would suggest or think that because payroll is a very pertinent.
We can do that, but we still have to be very careful with the personnel information. So we try to limit the personnel exposure. So there's just me that typically does the payroll on the processing side.
Understood, but
HR has total responsibility up to that point, from the time sheets to entering new hire employees, to terminations, to deduction changes. The only thing finance does is just actually pulls the time over, reviews it, makes sure all the changes that HR made is correct, and processes it. That's really all we do. It takes, typically for me, it takes between 3 to 4 hours, but it just depends. Occasionally, because of all the overtime from the severe weather, that took a lot of manual calculation. And until we get everything from the departments, it's not gonna matter who your backup is, it'll be the same situation. 'Cause we don't get stuff in a timely manner, from departments sometimes, and not to their fault either, because there's a lot of stuff going on. But it takes a lot to get us to the point to process payroll. And we just need everybody on the same page and everybody to do what they need to do.
So department heads shouldn't have been surprised by it.
Not really, I don't think so.
They should have been expecting maybe a potential issue, knowing that they didn't get it in.
I mean, we had stuff turned, I mean, I wasn't here, but things were turned in later, and because we're trying to make sure we get people paid correctly, you know, we're always open to taking things at the last minute, which doesn't help us, but, we're committed to getting it done, and I can't promise somebody else.
Even this payroll, people turned in stuff late.
Yeah.
So it's which they have improved, but usually every payroll, I think we have at least 1 or 2 departments that's always missing something that we have to call and remind them on. And then when we do those extra checks, that's how we make sure people are getting paid, because sometimes we do have some departments who maybe have an employee that's out on leave, but that person that's reviewing that time for that department didn't put in their sick time. So we usually catch that on our end. So those are the little things that adds up into that 3 to 4 hours, because we do want to make sure everyone gets paid.
So quick question, how many people do we have working in the finance department? 4? So out of those, 5 counting you, so what would be the issue with someone of those 5 people being cross-trained in finance?
We can cross-train somebody else, we
Yeah.
really can, but my staff is really, maxed at their capacity of what they can do on a daily basis. So that's why I do payroll. I've always done payroll since I've been here. The finance officer has always been the one who processes payroll.
So if Katie is out and you're out, who would do it then?
We wouldn't have payroll.
I-
No, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out between it.
Hospital,
Yeah,
but anyway.
we'll figure it out. We'll
You
get
got
us
to get it
paid.
done.
I promise you, we'll get it paid unless we're just, you know,
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because I think that's why we need somebody else cross-trained in finance. Because, just by you have, maybe have an emergency and then you out, somebody else need to be cross-trained. Because if you have an emergency, you're not trying to do no work at home. Even though I know you would try to get us paid, but still, an emergency, that's the least thing from your mind, trying to do payroll. So that's why I just think,
when I worked at public school, we only had 2 people that done payroll. And so, we just, you just only had 2 people that done payroll. Most places you don't have a handful of people that do payroll.
but she has HR duties also. So combined with the HR duties and the finance, whenever you're out, that's a lot. So that's why I was saying, maybe we should try to get somebody cross-trained to help,
And I can do that, I don't
her.
have a problem doing it.
Okay.
But just be cautious that they won't do it all the time, so they'll be a lot slower at doing it as well. So you may still have the delays with timing, because it takes.
I think a part of that cross-training would be when you do it, allow them to see what you're doing so that they could be good at doing it. Because again, this is a very pertinent situation.
Watching and doing is 2 different things.
Very much so.
I promise you.
Oh, I totally agree. The kiddos,
Watch me all day long so you get doing it.
I get it. I get it. There's a
But
difference.
I can definitely pass that torch along and let that person be responsible, and then I'll be the backup. Because I've done it so long, I can definitely be the backup for the payroll and let that person be responsible for it versus me every payroll. So there's other alternatives to it.
So they're having an issue now with has it been corrected?
I don't think so. I haven't received an update yet. When I logged in earlier, it still said in progress. Some employees did see where the time has been corrected, but then also still took out double the time. So as of right now, I think it's still pending. So our plan is right now to call them first thing in the morning, because we may have come up with a possible workaround to go ahead and get payroll submitted, but we want to make sure that that's not going to cause an issue on the back end when they do fix what's going on.
So what she's saying is I come up with an alternative solution, hopefully, that we can do a workaround tomorrow. That way people can get their check like they intend to get it. But we've got to find out from Paylocity if it's something we can do. But that option is manually keying people's vacation, sick, and petty leave on the payroll side. And what I mean by that is 2 separate systems. Timesheets is one section, and then the payroll process is another one. So all your time comes over into the payroll. I pull it in, everybody's time worked, their leave, whatever they use, it comes over into the pay system. So when we pull that over and it's not there, I can manually key it on the pay side. That way people can get their pay. But there again, if we've got 100 people taking leave, that's 100 people I got to manually touch and key their leave in. And I also have to know what it is, too.
And only one person can do it at a time. Both of us can't be in there at the same time.
Right.
For some reason, Paylocity locks everybody out when you start processing payroll. So whoever's the holder of it at that point is the only person who can key it. So I can't say, okay, Katie, you take M through Z and I take, A through whatever. But it won't let you do that. So only one person can be in payroll at one time.
So Commissioner Woodburn suggested maybe looking at something else. Do you think that'd be a good idea?
Now, probably so. Eventually, I want to move to a different finance package, which hopefully will be all-inclusive of payroll too. All in one package where they interact together. Because right now, I have to manually calculate all the journal entries after payroll to post to our financial system. They don't interact with each other. So I'm hoping to do a new system within the next couple of years, which would include a payroll component too.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think the bottom line is, pay is critical to everybody. And it doesn't matter what bank or what financial institution it is. Every employee knows when that money hits.
That's right. That's
So I think we need to get it resolved. I'm not saying rush on it, but let's get it resolved so that we don't have surprises like we have here the last couple of pay periods.
The way I understand it is, it was not a Paylocity issue. It was a timing issue of when pay was entered into Paylocity. Is that correct?
Correct.
So-
That's because of how large the payroll
Yeah,
is, and
sure.
you never know what issues you're gonna run into.
Yeah. So I don't think it's fair to say Paylocity was the one who caused checks to be due on Friday instead of on Thursday. It was the time we submitted it as county staff, which we know there were, extenuating circumstances this time. I'm fine if we want to look at a new payroll service. I just don't think payroll was responsible for people getting paid on Friday instead of Thursday. I personally think they were paid on the day they're supposed to be paid on, so I don't really understand the whole issue here, but.
Well, the issue is that our staff that you mentioned wasn't able, due to a change in vacation, whatever, we know that's due to our staff. But if payroll is not the issue is somebody not being cross-trained, prepared to take that workload versus HR who has a workload, trying to add that to her workload. And so that's why the cross-training, I think,
Sure.
is the resolution.
I agree with you. Cross-training versus changing from Paylocity to another company because it wasn't Paylocity's fault. So I agree wholeheartedly with the cross-training part.
But there's a Paylocity issue right now, too, while we're speaking.
I know there's another issue with Paylocity going on, and that's, you're working that out. I have no involvement with that.
And based on the circumstances around it, I'm not saying if I was even here if it had been on time either.
No telling.
Because it wasn't initially, it wasn't Katie, it was just all the circumstances around it. And Katie does a wonderful job. And, it wasn't any fault of Katie's, to be honest.
Yeah.
It could have been sent early, and it could have still been the same issue, because again, it comes back to when the bank sends it over, because
That's
we're
right.
within the schedule.
But I think,
Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I don't know exactly what happened, but something different happened on this last pay period. Thursday morning, around 2 o'clock, before I went to bed, I checked to see if my check was there. It wasn't there. First thing on Thursday morning, 7 o'clock, it still wasn't there. I said, maybe I've got the wrong week. But I recall you presented and said, hey, I'm going back to my office and work on payroll, because if we don't get paid on time, then we're going to have some unhappy people. Well, that Thursday morning, we had some unhappy people. I was in a conference call with another commissioner, and the commissioner said to me, have you received any complaints yet about payroll? I said, no, not yet, but I haven't been on email since 9 o'clock. But I must have had 12 different emails saying check wasn't deposited on time. And these employees were really upset, very upset. And before I left the conversation with the commissioner, we both agreed that we need to have an explanation as to what happened and what measures have we taken to make sure it doesn't happen again. Because if we have a practice in place where state employees, credit union employees, receive their pay posted on Thursday, and that's been the common practice for years and years and years, We need to maintain that schedule. So what happened?
So do we need to change the personnel ordinance that says employees will be paid on Thursday instead of Friday? Because the personnel ordinance states they'll be paid on Friday, which they were.
Please don't do that.
Please don't do that, because we have a hard enough time getting it done with Friday with some
You questioned
departments.
Mr. Gatewood about, were they paid on time? Could you define on time?
On time is a common practice. State employees' credit unions get paid on Thursday. I'm one of them.
Well, I would argue I get paid on Friday.
I get paid on Friday. That's on time for me.
And
So-
everybody else gets their money early but
Yeah,
me.
so-
Or
So
whoever
why
doesn't
did the
have credit.
employees complain so vehemently?
Because like, to me, like you said, they used to getting paid on Thursday, and they didn't get paid on Thursday, so it became a complaint. But the ordinance states every other Friday. So, I mean, that's technically, if they got paid on Friday, they got paid when they were supposed to.
I understand the technical aspects of it,
It wasn't what they were
but
used to.
common
Right,
practice.
I understand that.
Ongoing practice has been state employees credit union employees and county commissioner, one of them, we receive our check on Thursdays. And when it doesn't hit on Thursdays, that create problems.
Especially when that's been the practice for years and without any interruption, so.
Mr. Leary.
All right, so the way I understand this is, yes, our payday is Friday by the ordinance. Y'all process payroll early, so if a situation happens, you can catch it and people still get paid on time. Just like if I owe on my mortgage on the 1st of the month, but I historically pay on the 28th of the previous month to make sure I pay on in time, if I wait until the 1st of the month, it's still not late. All I'm saying is, y'all have a system in place. Y'all do it early. For exactly what happened this pay cycle, an error happened, they caught it, and employees still got paid on Friday. So that's just, I look at it as the way that y'all are doing it is successful because an error happened. If you were doing it later, then you could have caught this error and it would have been too late. But y'all caught the error, y'all fixed the issue, and people still get paid on time. Just because people expect it, or historically on Thursday, it's done that way, so if they have an error, they catch it and people still get paid on Friday. I personally commend you for catching the error and still getting people paid on Friday. I commend you for doing all of that work because that fell during the emergency management and all that, right?
Yes, sir.
There was a lot of hours, a lot of overtime, a lot of time that y'all had to sift through with that. So it took a little bit longer than normal. They still got paid on Friday, so that's just the way I see it. Maybe I'm the oddball out, but they still got paid on time. So
I agree
I'm not
with you.
against looking into a different paylocity service because I know historically that's had issues with keeping up vacation time, things like that. If that's something y'all want to entertain, I'm not against that, but the system that y'all have worked out proved its purpose this week. Something happened, y'all caught there, you fixed it, people still got paid on time.
Mr. Woodburn, you got
Just gonna mention another thing too. It sounds like, based on what you all just said about the additional workload because of the, I guess the people who worked overtime and all that kind of thing from the bad weather and that kind of stuff. It may be just a matter of communicating to employees that this may happen this week. And that way they know, so it's not a surprise when they don't see the money in the bank. I mean, like I said, and I don't check, but I know a lot of people do. And, if you've been seeing it on a certain time, you expect to see it there. And so I think anything that we can do proactively whenever those situations come up that it may be late is that the word is put out to the employees so they know about it. And they know that, and first of all, like's being said, if payroll, if payday is actually Friday, and this week it may be Friday because of these are the things that we're up against to get all the information in the system. And at the same time, just remind them that, and especially department heads, that information is needed to make this happen. Because they may not be looking at it the way everybody else is. I get it in when I get it in. And I shouldn't put it like that, but just for lack of a better term. And they may not realize, they're thinking that everybody else has got it in. Well, my one or two people is not going to cause that much of a problem. When in reality, it can if everybody's looking at it like that.
Okay, so we do have a motion and a second on the floor to explore another pay service, payroll company. We need to follow up on that motion. So a motion was made by Commissioner Woodburn, second by Commissioner Gatewood. Is there any other discussion on, and let me restate, your motion was to explore another payroll service, not to move forward with
Not,
one.
yeah, just explore and I'm not saying not rushing. It don't need to happen in the next 3 months, but I think you said maybe within a couple of years you're looking at a new, and I'm fine with that, as long as we're doing something, so
Okay.
we don't have these situations anymore.
Okay, all right. We had a motion, a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you. Once you get some research, you can present it back, I guess, through the manager, and like I said, we can make a decision going forward.
Before you all go, I think the questions were never really answered. I mean, Commissioner Leary said you caught the error. I think what we wanted to know, what was the error? You know, why did it happen? What was the why in it?
It was a larger payroll. I had several manual changes I had to key. It's not something that I do on a regular basis. I had the overtime I had to calculate. I had the general changes that I had also put in there. Then I also had the elections paid when the poll workers are working. A lot of their hours had to be manually entered in addition to their training. So for someone who doesn't do it on a regular basis, like Holly said, she can do it in 3 or 4, but because when you don't do it on a regular basis, then it's probably gonna take you double that time. And then when you have issues, when you have things that's not calculating out like it should, then it takes you time to figure out, okay, what am I doing wrong? So it just took longer than usual because, you know, not being familiar with it on a regular basis and having so many changes to have to manually do on top of your regular duties, it just took longer than usual, but it still was done on time, ahead of time, as we usually do. If I thought payroll would have been late, of course I would have notified employees, but I don't know who gets paid early. So, I mean, I apologize, you know, for anyone who was expecting their pay on Wednesday, but if I thought they were gonna be late, I of course would have told them, but I didn't know. The only thing that I did know is that the paper checks may possibly arrive late, so I notified those who be looking for the paper checks that, hey, because this was submitted just a tad bit later than usual, the paper checks, because FedEx does have a cutoff, and it was after the cutoff for FedEx, so that's why I knew the paper checks may come in a little bit later, which they did. So I notified the employees who normally get those checks that, hey, those may arrive later because of the time it was submitted. But as far as those that get the direct deposit, I have no way of knowing who gets it when. So that's why no notification was sent out, because I didn't know it was gonna be late. Only thing I knew it would be
Yeah,
late
you don't
was the
have to
pay.
know that who does it and all that. I mean, who has direct deposit and who doesn't. It's just a matter of being a little bit proactive and just saying, this may happen.
I didn't know it was gonna happen though, that's the thing. I didn't know. If I knew, I
mean-
would've told them.
Yeah, I mean, but you know, you knew there was an overload as far as the information that had to be keyed in, and because of all the extra overtime and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, just as a heads up, because it may not happen, but at least if they've got a heads up that it could happen, then you don't have all these upset people because it wasn't there when they thought it ought to be there. That's the only thing that I'm saying, because like I said, I know in general, it's just human nature. For X number of years, you've been seeing your paycheck hit your bank, or you get your paycheck in your hand on a certain day. I mean, it's happened for years, and all of a sudden it doesn't happen. So then you're wondering what's going on. So I'm just thinking anything that we can do that would be proactive, even though you may not know, you may suspect that something's going to happen. Just let them know ahead of time so that there's not any surprises. That's the point I'm trying to make. I might not be doing a good job of it, but yeah.
Well, wouldn't that be the same thing as saying for every payroll that could possibly, the ones that get paid on Thursday could not get paid on Thursday, that it could be on Friday like it's supposed to? I mean, to put that out, I guess, every week for what people would know from this point on, because you never know until they get the processing that it could be a problem that's not seen in their control that they can't fix. Immediately that it takes some time to figure out what didn't calculate to make it right. So it's a chance it could be that every 2 weeks that it's time for pay.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm not sure if that's 100% accurate, because as a rule, things usually flow like they're supposed to.
Right.
But when you get these extraordinary circumstances, that's when it could get screwed up. That's the only thing I'm talking about. You don't have to do it every week.
I think we understand what the circumstance was, is the one that normally do it didn't do it. And no, not blame, you know, because I wouldn't by no means blame you, nor you taking vacation, whatever. But I think my concern is that if we know payroll is a pertinent thing, important thing, is I get people were still paid by Friday, but payroll was not submitted at the same time as normally submitted on, and for payroll to process at a later date. So again, I want to emphasize making sure we have the proper training for someone else that could take that load in case, right?
And I
That-
still think, Mr.
that would be more prepared. And I'm not saying you, I understand, but because that's not a part of your actual day-to-day, week-to-week job description, you know. And I know you was picking up that responsibility so that it could get done. So I just wanted clarity on what because we said we caught an error or what I wanted to know what that problem was. And I think I know now. So I think I know what we could suggest to kind of help make that not be as big of a problem.
And there are probably some other things we could do, is not, when there's the circumstances with all the overtime, we could probably say, okay, you're gonna get paid as you normally do, the next payroll, we're gonna pay you your overtime. That'll give us plenty of time to calculate and not make no errors, you know, based on, you know, the storm. Or we could do like, if the election workers' pay didn't get turned in until Tuesday, I think it got turned in Tuesday, the day before we process. That's really difficult between HR and me to get it manually keyed on time to make sure everybody gets paid. So those, if we stick to some deadlines and try to be very clear, we can avoid some of this. To be honest, but we're trying to get people paid. We want to pay people.
That sounds good.
You know, so there's some things we can do, and we can communicate that and say, okay, you know, maybe I'm out and I'm in the hospital, whatever, and we've got all this overtime that's got to be calculated. Then Katie has the flexibility. Go, okay, we're not going to pay you this time. We're going to pay everybody like we normally do, and we'll calculate the overtime and pay you next time.
So would you suggest that we would need some policy created by this board for that deadline, or
just
what?
the flexibility for us to work with Lynn and to make decisions, and with the board, you know, we can
Yeah.
communicate.
Well, I'm just thinking about deadline sounds like something that would work.
We
So
have
if you
them,
want it by a certain time, you have to submit it by a certain time. Is there something in place or that we could put in place for that to be the case?
We try to work with the departments, that's
Yeah.
why we
We try to work with departments, and everybody's busy, everybody has their own responsibility, so we really try hard to take things even at the last minute, to be honest. But, I mean, we can really, I don't even wanna say push back. But
So
we
a
can-
deadline or not?
Yeah, we
I mean, I'm
try.
saying which one would you think worked,
I
deadline or
think
not?
deadlines will really help a lot.
Well, so we need to implement deadlines, and then the expectation wouldn't be there.
Yeah, but we need your support when they complain they didn't get something.
Well, you have it now.
Cause they're gonna call you, you're gonna be the first line they call.
Well, I mean, a
unfortunately,
deadline is
so-
a deadline, so that's what I'm saying. How do we go about that?
So we don't mind,
Well, I
but
have other places where I have been the manager, I have set those deadlines hard and fast, and people didn't get paid, they called their commissioners. The ladies are set telling you the honest to God truth, and that's fine, I can handle it. But I know you guys will get the calls, and you'll get multiple calls, because I had calls from some of you on that payroll.
But did we have any deadlines then?
The deadlines that are set, because the department heads, okay, ladies, when should a department head submit their payroll to you all to start processing for payroll to take place? What's the deadline?
Well, we prefer for them to do Friday, but no later than Monday morning.
you go.
So we can start working on it that afternoon.
That's the
But
preference, but what is the deadline?
There's nothing written, it's just kinda
So,
understood, so
again-
it's nothing formal.
So we don't go in a circle. Here's what I'm asking: how do we submit a deadline and make that stick?
We can create all the policy we want to. We already have a policy in the personnel ordinance that says all employees will be paid on Friday. And we're still here arguing that they were paid on Friday, but we have an issue. So we can create all the policies we want to. We don't even abide by the own policies we've already got put in place.
And my thing is, I want to say to y'all, just like you said earlier, so Katie's your backup now. So when you're out, Katie has to do it. She don't do it all the time. It was still a slow process, right? So even if you train another person, it's going to be the same thing because they're not going to do it all the time. I can understand to have somebody know the knowledge, but I don't understand it's still going to be the same way because Holly's still going to process it every 2 weeks.
I think one suggestion that she made was she'll train somebody to do it all the time, and she'll be the backup.
Right.
That'll
That's
work.
And
that's what I
they
would
need. They
suggest.
needed somebody else
Well, I
cross-trained.
get that.
Because
There's
Katie's
5
got
people.
another job to do. She does HR, she
I
don't
get
do
that.
finance.
I get that, but you still, if it's somebody, somebody just doesn't do it every time, they're not gonna know.
So that's what I'm saying. That person we train, let them do it every time. We've got 5 people
Let
in
them
finance.
do it.
Yeah.
But if one person doesn't show up, we know right now our finance director can do it hands down, probably with our eyes closed, I guess.
No.
But
It
if,
would've
if,
took me longer to do this payroll, I promise.
I,
you.
right, I
Yeah,
understand, and I
because of the
understand. Yeah,
circumstances.
yeah.
So if our finance director is comfortable training another staff in her department to run payroll, and she'll be the backup, that's her decision. I think that's,
I'm just gonna have to
let her
look
make that
at-
decision.
I'm gonna have to look at workload and
That's right.
see what I can manage and move around.
I agree.
I got you.
But, you know, I may do things every other payroll, we swap every other payroll. You know, not necessarily them doing it 100%, because I need to make sure that I stay as current too. But-
As long as it works.
Okay.
So, I mean, we can come up with different things. I just think one thing we probably need to work on is trying to hold to deadlines, and just need your support if we hold them to deadlines. And we can communicate those deadlines. And I think Katie does a lot, but Katie tries to work with everybody. Cause I'm always asking her, you got it, you got it, you got it? No. Because the reason why you get it when you do is cause I'm pushing Katie the whole time during the week. Because she's taking things.
I'm sure you'll get it if it's an actual deadline and they know that they won't get it if they don't meet it. And that's all I'm saying. If we want to get this in a timely manner, you have to set a time frame for it. We don't have that right now. So, hey, if there's not a deadline, you can tell them when you prefer it, but evidently you don't require it because it's not a deadline.
I like what you're saying, all of you, because what we can do, I'll have our clerk at our next department head meeting. This will be the number one item that we will be discussing. And I will let them know that there are gonna be hard and fast deadlines, and that if people do not submit it on time, then they may have a possibility to where their employees, regardless if they have 1 or they have 50, may not get paid on that Friday.
Hey.
Yep.
And then it will,
That's what I'm hearing. If I'm
and it won't be any fault of the county.
Okay,
It won't be any fault of the county.
okay.
In
I mean,
this
I'm-
case, you know, we
If I'm
can't.
misunderstanding, you tell me now. No, you're right.
And we're saying cross-training, don't forget that part either. You left that out.
Yeah, you
We
did.
wanna
No,
cross-train
we're
too.
trained because I have been discussing with our finance director, because I've been here 3.5 years, and I have been discussing ever since that I am not a Paylocity fan. But if you'll remember, we had to keep it because there were several changes in our platforms in an 18-month period. I think I'm right about that, because it dealt with the way taxes were done, it dealt the way with several departments, and we're still trying to work through those issues. But you know, it's like trying to fly an airplane while you're building it. You can't do it. So we are making changes with all those things. I had another situation that I'll tell you, I set a deadline because we had 2 storms back to back, which caused problems with payroll, but the ladies worked through it admirably. And I had to have yesterday in our department head meeting, the second item we talked about was I recognized Rodney Diggs, who is our emergency management director, because he has not received the forms yet that we turn in to get reimbursed from FEMA. And we spent a lot of money during those storms. And so if they don't get it done, it's not gonna cost me, it's gonna cost the county, every citizen here, because we will be paying for stuff that we shouldn't have to pay for without getting reimbursed. And I'm gonna tell you now, I will hold them accountable. They may never have been written up before, but they will this time.
But there you go.
There you go. I appreciate your support.
Sounds good.
I mean, they're all adults. We don't have anybody that works for us that's 12 years old.
I agree.
All right.
Okay.
I like it.
Any other discussion on payroll, Paylocity?
So what I would do is cross-train somebody else, and I will work through that. And I try not to never take vacation on payday regardless, but this time I did, and it just happens to work that way.
I understand.
That's your, hey,
I'm so
what's wrong
sorry.
with, no,
Right.
vacate.
Believe me, I heard it on my vacation because I figured out how to get access to my email. And I was like, okay, tell me what's going on. But we
I do have-
sincerely apologize for those who didn't get theirs on Thursday. But with all the efforts that we do all the time, people get paid by the ordinance on Friday.
Thank you.
Unless it's a holiday or something. We are always committed to making sure primarily employees get paid and on time and accurate to the people.
Yep. Okay. I do have one other item I want to ask you about for finance. We signed an agreement, this board did, entered into a contract agreement with the animal shelter for contract payment once a month. I think that contract stated that they would be paid the first of the month. There were some issues with this last check, and I just want to clear up so we know going forward how we're going to handle it. The check wasn't written until February the 10th. It was mailed February 14th, and February 20th, they finally received it in their mailbox that had been opened. There were some issues with the Postal Service. How can we streamline that process where they're paid the first of the month?
I'm not sure, I don't remember the date that we actually got the invoice via email, because I got it when I was on vacation. So I went on vacation after the 6th. So it actually didn't come to us before the 1st. Because I forwarded it from Italy to make sure they would process it, because I left specific instructions. If I get this invoice, please process it. So we processed it pretty quickly if it came after the 6th or 7th.
Okay.
If it was printed on the 10th.
I have been told that the invoice is sent the month prior.
It has been, but this time it was not. And I went back and looked, and I hate to not speak correctly, but I looked before I left because it was after the 1st, and I had not received it. So I intentionally looked again while I was on vacation, and I received it and sent it to my staff, even though they already had it, because we have it going to Anson Invoices, just in case somebody's out. But I can look at the sequence of that email that we got. I know it was after I left, and we turned it around pretty quickly. They knew what to do with it when I left, because I left specific instructions. If we get this invoice, please make sure you process it.
Okay. Do we have something in place to prevent, I guess, I know we can't manage the Postal Service, but it's a lot of money floating around in a mailbox somewhere that we don't have no control over. Do we have a way to prevent that in the future?
Not with the mail service, but they're more than welcome to pick up the check when it's available.
Okay.
They're welcome to come pick it up in person if they want to.
Okay.
If you want to, Ms. Morton. You're welcome to come pick up the check if you want to.
I think that would be possible, but Ms. Holly, the check.
Could you speak in the mic?
Yeah.
Can we give her a microphone?
Yeah, Ms. Morton, you'll have to
Morton,
come to a
can
mic.
I have to look at the email to see when I got the email, so.
People watching, they wanna hear that.
I know that the invoice was sent out this last month on the 20th and the month before on the 17th because I was in the office when the invoice came, because I go to check and make sure it is, coming in to the right place.
Okay. I just want to make sure we're getting that paid on time. I mean, that's a contract that this board agreed that we would pay, and we need to make sure it's paid on time. So however we need to go forward. So, okay.
I'm not gonna disagree with her, but I'm pretty sure I didn't get it in my email.
Okay. So, and I don't see those invoices, so I don't know, but, okay. And then, Ms. Morton, I guess if, I don't know if y'all want to pick up check up to verify that you get it, or if you want to mail it, I don't know if we can do.
We verify with Jennifer, our accountant, when it's sent, because a copy is sent to me. And I will talk to our treasurer and see what she wants to do.
Okay.
Okay?
So,
And you're more than welcome to send us an invoice already for the whole year each month. Give it to us up front, and we can hold it and process it at the first of the month. So if you wanna create an invoice for, what's left, March, April, May, and June,
Okay.
you're welcome to send us, go ahead and send us all of them, and we'll just hold one for each month.
But I don't think that would be based upon the lines of our contract. What if we decide, I mean, not saying that we would.
They can send it to us, and we're not gonna pay anything that's not in line with the contract.
yeah, if we were to,
Okay.
for whatever
I
reason,
mean,
there's a certain time frame in that contract that we don't just cancel it on the spot. So
Right.
we would work all that out. Yeah. So,
So you're welcome to send us, if it was the beginning of year 12 invoices,
so,
then we don't have to worry about it.
so,
We have like what I call a tickler file of invoices that we pull out every month and pay.
All right, Miss Holly, can you tell me when the check is supposed to be given? Because I was told the 1st, or checks went out on the 5th. So when do checks to a contract company?
It's all dependent on when we process invoices. We process invoices once a week. So to get it on time before the 1st would mean we have to process it a week before that.
Okay, well,
Get it to you on time.
all right, so go ahead and do all the invoices for the rest of the year. Okay, so when would our check be processed?
We will pull it the last week of the month and process it before.
Okay, thank you.
That's fair enough. I just want to make sure we got a plan going forward.
You know, I mean, we can come up with something else to try to.
That's perfect for me. So, all right, that's all I've got. Anyone else have anything for finance or HR?
Thank you very, very much.
Thank y'all.
Thank you for all y'all do.
I know on the
Thank you.
agenda, I'm sorry, I know on the agenda, we're supposed to talk a little bit about the COLA. So I didn't know if you want to take that time now, or do it later while I'm here, while I'm up here.
Guess we'll go by the agenda.
I would say let's do it now.
While you're here,
That's why I'm standing here.
we can
No,
do it while
let's
you're here.
do it.
So,
Um,
so for those in the audience, we're moving to item 7C.
I'm sorry. Marina's passing around just one sheet that gives you the calculation on the cost of living. I was asked, actually before I came back, was asked to look at what it would cost for cost of living between 1%, 2%, and 3%. The numbers that you will see are the impact, the full annual cost, okay? So if you're looking at a 3% for this fiscal year, it'll cost us around $240,000 versus $628. But if you annualize that, it would be $628,000, and that would include the matching benefits along with the 3% for all employees.
You said it would be 200 and what?
Yeah, $239,000.
That would be to finish out just to
Yeah,
June.
if we do
That's
the
all.
next payroll until June, that would be what we need to cover it.
You said
But if we look to
240.
do it for a 12-month period, it would be what's
600.
highlighted, 628.
628, yeah, 628,000, yeah. And it will be a little bit more than that next year because retirement's gonna go up, unfortunately. We'll probably continue with our, increase in the 401K until we get to the 5%. So it will be a little bit more, but this is just, you know, an idea. It might be maybe 20, 30,000 more if you annualize it next year. I did put the chart about the fund balance, because I know I was not here. I had all intentions of being here because the audit should have been done in October. So I do apologize for that, because February is typically, I don't have to worry about anything. So that's the month I typically take my vacation is February. But they did present you with the audit. We've had a healthy fund balance the last 4 or 5 years, but it's steadily declining. And so I wanted to just capture that again. Even though we have a 21% fund balance, that's still 2.6% drop from the previous year. We have done a lot of things this year to hopefully continue to slow that decline down, which we have done a great job with that. Because this year we've done things like no capital, we've frozen positions, we didn't give a COLA. So I'm hoping at the end of fiscal year 26, we're gonna see it be aligned. It's not gonna drop anymore. I can't guarantee that, but I'm hoping either we're gonna move up or we're gonna stay steady. So I still wanna make caution about doing anything with fund balance at this time, because we're just on a negative decline right now. And I don't know what our revenue is gonna look like as far as the revow. Those are uncertain right now, so I'm not sure where we're gonna land. I'm pretty confident or comfortable that our fund balance is still gonna continue to be healthy at the end of the year because of everything that we've done and everything you've committed to do with the budget and departments. So
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
Social Security recipients received a 2.7% cost of living increase January 1 of this year. And I would like to make a motion that we do likewise by our employees, a 2.7% COLA.
I second it.
would
Okay.
you mind giving an effective date for that? Could it be
Next
the
pay
next-
period.
So-
The beginning of the next pay period or pay for the next pay period? Because the next pay period is really this week, it started this week. So we're talking about the beginning of the next pay period?
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
okay,
So 2 weeks from now, I guess, would be,
yeah,
yeah.
okay.
So that's 2.7% through June, which was rough, well,
Yeah.
not quite $239,000.
And we may be able to absorb some of that with your current budget because we're frozen positions. They're already budgeted, so you may not see me come back with the big budget amendments for everybody. Because I'm only gonna need to make adjustments for those who didn't have vacant positions and stuff. So those who had vacant frozen positions, it'll be, their current budget will cover the increase. So you won't see, hopefully you won't see a lot of budget amendments to increase budgets and salaries and benefits. That's what I'm hoping.
Mr. Chairman, we have a motion and a second.
Okay. Have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Gatewood for a 2.7% COLA increase from now to June. Have a second by Commissioner Ellaby. Any discussion on that?
I got two. You talking about the COLA ending in June?
No,
It would be forever.
Forever? Okay.
it will be ongoing.
Okay, I just wanted the way you worded it to.
Yeah, well, in other words, I said the COLA through June because
That's the next.
we're going to spend $239,000 between now and June on payroll, and it's going to continue forever. And then
Which
I'm sure
will
we're going
be-
to have another conversation in June on giving another COLA.
No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you approve it now, we talk about 200 something, I understand that to June, but it's
Yeah.
a 628,000 increase recurring for every year from here on out. Secondly, when we talked about COLAs last year, I still am disappointed that there's no merit raise, there's no, based on employee performance, we pay the good employees the same thing as the bad employees, regardless of how it's gonna sound. There's bad employees and there's good employees, there's better employees and there's worse employees. There hasn't been merit raises in this county, to my knowledge, in a long time. It's actually in our personnel ordinance, if I'm not mistaken, right, Miss Katie?
Katie's gone.
Katie's gone, that's fine. Little Joe, there he is, right, in the personnel ordinance, I think. So anyways, I guess, right. So what I'm getting to is COLA. I understand the COLA. I understand what a COLA is, cost of living allowance, I promise. I know prices out there in the grocery store and the fuel store. Diesel fuel just went up by $1 where I filled up yesterday, from yesterday morning to last night. Cost of living affects us all. Merit raises and no merit raises and not funding for merit raises is what pushes good employees out of the employee pool at Anson County. When an employee can stay here 10 years and be making the same thing as year one employee, and it doesn't even matter if year one employee is the most superb employee we've ever had and 10-year employee over here is subpar and they're making the same exact thing, it's not fair. In my book, it's not fair to me, in my opinion. So I'm still going to stick by the fact that I will not support a COLA until we get on board with merit raises and acknowledging good employees, whether that is whatever the manager dictates that to look like a grading rubric. I'm not talking about a department head saying, well, I really like Commissioner Calder over Commissioner Woodburn, I'm gonna give him a 3% increase. I'm talking about something on paper saying this employee is here 98% of the time of the year on time. They excelled in their positions, they done X many of cases, whatever department that is, however you rubric that. And we've talked about it 6 months ago, and here we are 6 months later talking about a COLA, and still no talk about merit raises. So to the good employees, I appreciate what you do. To the negative employees that are riding the line and making the same as the good employees, it is what it is. So I'm sorry, I may be blunt with that, and I don't mean to be. Well, actually, I do mean to be blunt. I'm going to be exactly blunt, because a very great employee should get recognized instead of making the same thing year in, year out as their subpar coworker. So there.
I agree with that, but I guess that would have to be somewhat, departments would have to grade that. Even the county manager probably is at a distance to some of these employees you speak of. Now, the COLA, on the other hand, is something that we recognize employees that are working experience a higher cost of living. And, you know, I'm not against merit raises. However, there's going to have to be some kind of systemic way to figure out who gets merit raises. You know, there's some that'll be much easier to identify than others. However, in the time frame of doing that, I think it's still important for us to recognize the fact that people who show up to work for Anson County, they still work for Anson County. And after getting the audit that we have received, the finance, it pretty much says that we're in a position that we weren't sure about it 6 months ago to do it. So while I just want to, I agree with the merit raises, I do, but I don't want to withhold that cost of living you know, to employees. So I would love for us to look into that. I agree with that, you know, we have some people that they just put in time and they shouldn't be here for 15, 20 years, and we hire somebody tomorrow and they're making the same amount as some, you know, I agree with that. But we figured something out to try to put in place for that. But I think we still should consider what we can do now, you know, because I don't know how that merit raise look. But again, I agree with you. I would be very interested in seeing how we could put something together for that.
So here's my question for the board. We see the paper, $500,000, correct? I'm sorry, did I take your turn?
No.
Okay.
I'm going after you, I guess.
All right, $500,000 for this COLA, right? Entertain to the board. Let the manager set up a rubric within the next month and take that $500,000 and put it towards merit raises first, and let's talk about a COLA in June.
Mr. Chairman, cost of living, we're all being affected by it now.
Right now.
And the government says Social Security recipients received a 2.7% increase, COLA increase, effective January 1 of 2026. All we're doing is following suit a few months later.
That's all.
And recognizing that all of our employees are being hit by increased cost of living.
Yeah.
So my motion still stands.
Seconded.
Did the federal government give 11% increase 2 years ago? Did we?
Did he give a
Did we?
12% whenever he gave it to the sheriff office?
Did we give 11% 2 years ago?
No, we did not. But we're not talking 2 years ago. We're talking.
When did we give 11%?
We're talking about March. I think today is the, what, 3rd of 2026.
We give 11%.
My motion.
I understand. We're still in discussion.
My motion is to increase compensation by 2.7% later this month based on cost of living.
Okay. I understand we have a motion on the floor. We have a second by Commissioner Ellaby for a 2.7% COLA increase effective later this month, the next pay period, through the end of, through June, and then we'll revisit it going into the budget. Mr. Woodburn? Yes.
No, I just throw this out there along the line of what Commissioner Leary is talking about, and I don't think it's in place already, but performance evaluations.
Right.
That will help with that.
Well, I think that's what Mr. Leary's referencing to with a merit raise is
Right,
based,
yeah.
performance-based. That's who would get a raise based off their performance.
We'd have to have that in place on if you want to make, in what I'm familiar with is annual performance evaluations. And, you know, you cover all areas of the employee's performance. And, but the other piece of that, if it's a very good employee, exceptional employee, you reward them accordingly. And if it's a subpar employee, then you start a process that they have to improve that performance, and you go through certain steps. If they do not, at a certain point in time, they're gone.
They should be terminated, yeah.
Sure.
That's kind of what I'm used to, so.
Okay. Any other discussion on the 2.7% COLA? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? I oppose. So I don't think our county's in a situation to be giving out $500,000 raises when our fund balance decreasing 2.5% year over year over year. We can give all the COLAs we want to, but at some time there's going to be a reckoning coming for this county, and we're going to be laying off employees. So I hope they spend their money wisely, because at some point we're going to have to correct this trend we're on right now.
I agree with that, yeah.
So that's why I oppose.
And I do believe we're going to continue running off good employees with blanket raises to every employee and not recognizing the good employees.
Okay.
I think it's important we still appreciate the employees we do have and recognize that this economy we living in is going up. It's not going down.
Okay.
I can say
They're
thank you
going down
on
like
behalf
our
of
budget.
all employees for the cost of living adjustment. I look at everything that y'all talk about, and it's really like what I call a holistic approach. You know, you need a COLA, you need the merit increases, you need performance evaluation. You also need what I call an alternative to retention strategies. Y'all support flexible scheduling. That's another alternative to retaining people. And I myself and every employee want to thank you for that continued support, because that's another option that you have for us, even though you didn't give us a COLA. So I do want to thank you for that. and just continue just to ask for your support for those, what I call, innovative strategies for us to not cost us more money, but to tell employees we appreciate it and we're trying to work with you. Because we do know there's also other things like a true balance from home and work. We all know employees who, they have situations that require them to be at home, but they're your best employee. And they're here every day and they show up for you every day and they do everything. So I, on behalf of finance and probably everybody in the county, really do appreciate that. I personally appreciate it, and I know my staff does, and many employees appreciate that. I know it was discussion last board meeting, but I don't get too many times to say it, but I do appreciate that support and that flexibility. And I think I speak that for most employees who benefit from that. We do get that there's 24/7 departments that don't have that sort of flexibility, and I appreciate everything they do because I couldn't do that. I'm not a sheriff, I'm not a deputy, I'm not a jailer, I'm not an EMS worker, I'm not a 911 person, but I can tell you when I call, I expect those people to respond, and I do appreciate that wholeheartedly. And they are much there to me than the heroes that are unspoken for a lot of times. So I do appreciate those jobs that don't have that flexibility like I have in finance too. So, but anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Okay, so now we're going to go back to our public addresses to the board. So there shall be a time set aside at each regular meeting of the board for public comment. Each citizen who wishes to speak during this time must sign up on a sign-up sheet prior to the start of the meeting. Each citizen shall be allowed 3 minutes for their presentation. All citizens are expected to follow proper decorum and shall not use profanity nor defamatory speech. The public is expected to remain seated except when leaving the room. Only presenters listed on the agenda or recognized by the chairman will be called to the podium to address the board. Commissioners are expected not to comment on matters brought to the board during this time, but to delay action or comment until staff has had an opportunity to research the subject matter and to report necessary and relevant information to all members of the board. So this time I'm going to call Chris Morton. I'll just remind you, if you will, speak into the mic, please.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good evening.
Thank you, and this is only 3 minutes tonight, so I'm gonna talk fast. First of all, just to let everyone know, we open tomorrow for full intake. So we had 35 complaints, and we have handled every single one of them today. So any dogs, any complaints will be taken care of. Animal control has been going out, and between October and now, I think we've taken in 119 dogs. So even though we wasn't open, we were still open. Now, the good thing is everything in animal control and the shelter is going great. Our employees, our staff, everything is going wonderful except one tiny matter, which I need advice on from county commissioners. So I did bring pictures tonight, which is showing that our floor is peeling back up and our wall. So I am not sure on how to handle this. Adoption room, we have not put any animals in yet, but the painters peeled off the tape and it ripped up the floor. So when we started intaking dogs, I just need your advice on what to do. Now, the picture of above the board, FRP board, you will see that the paint is peeling, and that was from hot water.
Just something the manager and facilities director, Mr. Small, can handle.
I think that's where this
Okay.
needs to be directed, is to the facilities manager and our manager, Mr. Sossman.
Yes, sir.
Because I think that was contracted work that was done, so there's gonna be some,
Well, I did contact Mr. Small, and I have contacted the contractor. I have not gone up and saw Mr. Sossaman yet, but I can with the pictures, so we can talk about it. So I guess I was just saying, I just didn't know which way to go. So that would be my answer, Mr. Sossaman.
I think you need to discuss that with Mr. Sossman, and he can discuss with Mr. Small and then ultimately it's gonna go down to the contractor who we hired to do the work
Yes, sir.
on, remedy to fix it.
All right, so go ahead and do the intake, correct? Intaking of all the animals.
That's that's up to you and
Yes,
the
sir.
North Carolina State who's gonna inspect you, as long as there's no issues, violations with them, with in taking a dog onto that floor or wall.
Right,
But that would have to be
right.
your decision.
I just didn't want it to tear up more before the problem was solved.
Yeah.
That was the only thing.
So, okay, yeah.
So, and the other thing, I invite everybody out to the shelter, because you can see that we are remodeling and fixing up. And the last thing is Chief Mims had a problem with a bunch of dogs with Reverend Everett. So, Maureen and I and Animal Control has been out there all week trying to find these dogs. So I have asked the community, please do not text or email the county commissioners. I have put my number out there, Maureen's number, and also the animal shelter. So please call us directly. So if somebody does email or text you, please give them our number and say, contact the shelter. So I think that would be a lot easier.
Yes, ma'am.
So just to let you know, we're doing great. Any questions?
I don't have any this time. So,
No? Okay,
all right.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next we have Mr. Charles McGinnis.
McGinnis.
I put a piece of a document on the desk beside you about the Anson County landfill. And I just wanted to, I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but I do encourage each one of you to read it and see what the state of the landfill's in. If you look back, it's no better than 2024, no better than 2023. And there's a lot of problems out there. And right now, there's two concerns. One of them is they have one wellhead that's the temperature's getting pretty high. It exceeded the safety limits. That's a bad sign. And the other concern is I haven't been able to find where they've started phase 5 yet. Now, phase 5 is going to double the capacity of that landfill. So right now, we're kind of in the middle of the growth of that landfill. And so going in, if we're only halfway through going into phase 5 and we got all these problems, I really do believe someone needs to address it. That's item number 1. Item number 2 is I wanted to express my concern about a group that's providing services to Anson County, and that's the Anson County Economic Development Group. I've got 3 concerns. One is they have a pile of metal eyesore out there east of Lysville on 74. It's been there for several months at least. My second concern is their secrecy. If the county's taxpayers is paying for their service, they shouldn't have the right to be secret about anything to the taxpayers. And my third concern is that kind of falls under the secrecy part of it, is the truck stop out there close to the high school and soon to be junior high school. And don't get me wrong, I'm really glad business is coming to Anson County. I welcome any business willing to come to Anson County, but there wasn't, in my opinion, there wasn't any forethought put into that location. And if you go on Google and Google concerns about schools near highways, it'll light up with all kinds of concerns about health, the asthma and whatever. So if it wasn't secret, if we had known they were going to put it there, at least some of the community like me could voice their concerns about putting it next to a school like that. So my request is that when we're coming up on another fiscal year, budget time's coming on, please put some thought into the value that we receive from these people over 2025. Did we get our $500,000 worth from them? And just saying, that $500,000 would pay 6 or 8 people to work in payroll. So, and that's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. McGinnis.
Joe got his hand up.
Do what?
Joe.
Oh. You want to speak? Okay. You didn't sign up, but I'll let you come speak at the podium. Yeah, I don't want you to cut my water off tonight, so I'll let you talk.
What you were saying,
Kyle?
Commissioner Leary, Commissioner Wilburn, when I worked with the county first time in the 90s, we did what they call merit raises based on your performance. But it's almost like I'm on episode 2 with the county because I've been back 16 years. Series 6, just off the top of my head, sitting there with merit raises just in the utilities department, in the water department. In 16 years I've been there. I think 5 or 6 is retired, but what I can count is 26 has gone through that door. Think about that.
Thank you for that, Lord Joe. It is something we need to keep in mind when we talk about retention.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that concludes our public addresses to the board. So this time, we're going to move into our manager's report. Turn it over to you.
Yes, sir. Back by popular demand is our record rotation report. You remember we discussed it after we had our annual meeting, and the recommendation from the committee, which was also approved by the record rotation companies that were in attendance, and I think all of them were there but one, was for a 40% increase. You've asked us to go back and look again, and we have. I did contact the Highway Patrol to talk to the first sergeant in person, who was in charge of rotation. The Highway Patrol does not have a fee schedule that is published like what we have. What they do, this is gonna sound crazy, I understand it, but they said that what they do is they have, I think at the current time, 2 of our current record rotation companies on their approved list. They submit their costs or their charges, if you will, for doing record work. Highway Patrol looks at them. If they're within close proximity, like a 10% differential, then they'll keep them on there. If Commissioner Gatewood has a record rotation and his is 500% or 200% or 100% higher than Commissioner Ellerby's, then they're going to say, you guys have to go back and work it out and get closer together. That's the way they do it, good, bad, or ugly. So going back, I think the 40% increase that was recommended initially is apropos. And if you think that's not, then bump it up 10% more and do a 50% increase. Because I know there was some concern that maybe we weren't high enough. And obviously the record service that is dictated by the Highway Patrol or was sponsored by them, their rates are a little higher.
So just for a basic tow with the Highway Patrol is $450 based on the proposal that the record the record committee brought to us with a 40% increase.
Right.
The charge was going to be for a basic tow $300.
Right.
So
that's why I think if you bumped it up even more, then that would get them a little more competition, because the insurance rates that they have to pay, as well as the service on the equipment and what they're required to have, is fairly astronomical.
okay. So what's the board's pleasure with the proposed 40% increase for the record ordinance?
Make a motion to approve it
Second.
Approve it at 40%?
at 40% as it's presented here tonight.
Second.
Okay. Have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Leary to approve the proposed 40% increase to the record ordinance. Second by Commissioner Gatewood. Any other discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
I appreciate it, because I will hear, either later tonight or else tomorrow early morning that the records do appreciate it, because they do watch it. As a lot of folks do watch our programs that we have here in terms of the meetings with the board. Next on my agenda is an atrium convalescent transport service letter that you have. And I've got Mr. Brian Nance, who is our EMS director here, to talk to you a little bit about it. But I have to tell you, he was pleased, I was pleased, and I think our finance department's pleased, is that the hospital has actually acquired this vehicle for us. But what we have to do, obviously, is man it, or staff it, I should say. Good.
Good to see y'all tonight. Thank y'all for having me. So like Mr. Saltzman was saying, the hospital has agreed to fund the purchasing of, it's a Sprinter style transport vehicle. It'll be a non-emergent convalescent transport truck. Have been in contact with not only the hospital but the nursing homes and the independent living, Meadowview Terrace, about seeing about if the numbers worked out. After talking to all of the ones involved, it's looking, reported to me that we should be getting about 800 additional calls from this truck for the non-emergent side. That's not taking into account any of the basic level transports out of the hospital, taking people back home or to another hospital that they could pick up as well. So we're looking at an increase of 2 to 3 calls per day at that number. So the cost to the county will be the initial cost of the equipment to run it, and naturally the staffing that it'll take to run it.
I believe, Mr. Nance, that the hospital has already acquired the vehicle.
No, sir.
They have not? Okay.
They have not acquired the vehicle. They've got the quote because I got them the quote, and they were waiting to see if all of this is approved to really.
So if this is approved tonight, then they're gonna go ahead and pull the trigger and buy the vehicle.
So I was gonna say, so we have to provide the equipment for the vehicle that they're gonna provide us.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they're buying the vehicle. We have to, stock it with the equipment and then staff it.
And staff it.
Yeah. So the stocking of the equipment will be right around $150,000 to $175,000.
And what is the cost of the vehicle?
It's the cost of the vehicle is $115,000.
115,000.
Yes.
Do you know what the estimated cost of staff will be in a year?
I want to say that Holly told me something like 240,000 a year.
Okay.
And then would this create some type of revenue from
Yes.
this service?
So we're at 800 calls. You're looking at $400,000.
That's
the
800 per year.
800 per year, the $500 per call. It'll be $400,000, and it'll take us 2 years to get to the positive.
Well,
After-
technically,
after the
after a
second
year and a
year,
half, yeah, a year and a half, we could,
then it's actually making.
and
around
then that ongoing.
$150,000 a year.
Mhm.
But the calls are gonna increase in that time frame as well, so hopefully, my goal is by the end of the year, it reaches 1,000 calls, but
So at 800 calls, it's gonna be, you said about 400,000 some dollars roughly. So every year that'll be in the positive of about $200,000.
Yeah.
Well, I'm willing to make that motion that we,
Second.
Okay.
yeah.
So you have a motion by Commissioner Ellerby
Yes.
to approve the proposal from Atrium Health on a convalescent ambulance.
yes.
All right, we have a second by Commissioner Gatewood. Mr. Saltzman, you got something?
Just one other thing, so the board will know is that, as Mr. Nance knows, that by doing this, it allows the people who are at the hospital to actually spend more time there, which also will help their numbers increase,
Right.
which helps us, because I know there is a movement underway to add to the hospital's size and occupancy standards, which is good for us, because I hear people all the time saying, we need a bigger hospital. Well, this will help us another step in that direction.
Yep. And it also frees up an ambulance that we have running those calls currently.
Exactly, just if you have a minute, just some of the benefits,
Mhm.
y'all have already approved it or whatever, but, there was a neurology specialist that was waiting on this to come in before they came to Anson Hospital, so they'll be coming to Anson Hospital, which will increase the call volume for us.
Wow.
So, there's the 911 aspect where we're freeing up emergency 911 trucks by utilizing this. And the citizens are just going to, really have a better, more readily available health care, because we're gonna be able to discharge people from the hospital at a faster rate than we're doing it now. So, thank y'all, and hopefully
Thank you.
this
We're-
will fund.
Yeah, we're gonna call a vote,
some
so,
more emergency.
I think it's all
okay.
positives all the way around.
Okay.
I think it's a win for the county, it's a win for Atrium, and a win for the citizens, most importantly, so.
Definitely.
All right, so we have a motion, we have a second. Any other discussion?
I got 3 questions.
Yes, sir.
It'll be doing BLS transports, so will you still be able to, will you still have in rotation with those ALS transports coming out of the hospital?
So the ALS transports will have to be handled by the paramedic officers.
Right, okay,
They will have that. The BLS transports will be handled by this truck.
okay.
What
Well,
is a call of a BLS transport? Because maybe citizens don't understand what the terminology is.
Okay, so a basic level transport is somebody that's going to Union for a CT or a MRI. That would be a basic level transport. Emergency transport is somebody that is, has IV established and medication running and stuff like that.
Just dictates on what
Yeah,
staff
I got
levels
you.
on that truck.
Yeah,
Um,
I just found what that meant the other day, so I want to make sure the citizens understand.
okay,
Um,
Kyle.
12 hours or 24 hours?
It's gonna be a 12-hour truck,
What's that? What are they looking at the hours, 10A to 10P or
8A to 8P.
8A to 8P?
8A to 8P.
Okay.
That's whenever, so, the hospital, they were the ones that, me and them were talking, and 8 o'clock would work for them as far as getting patients up, because they're wanting to, for us to transport them up there to get a CT or whatever, and then transport them back so that they can keep more in county to increase the bed size, hopefully, over there at Anson Hospital.
And most of them will be BLS calls for that that's what I'm thinking about, the neurologist coming in.
Yes,
Yes,
most of
sir.
them will be BLS.
Okay. The vehicle, is Atrium purchasing that vehicle and giving it to us? They're not leasing it for $1 or nothing?
No, it's gonna be a gift, if you will.
It's gonna be a gift.
A gift. Yeah, that's the right wording. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's all I had then.
Okay. Any other discussion on that? Okay, all in favor of the proposal, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nance.
Thank you.
What's the outlook for a QRV in Ansonville and Burnsville area?
Do what?
What's the outlook for a QRV up there in the Burnsville and Ansonville area? They got some long response times up there.
This is the first step. What I'm hoping is that the increase in this will pay for further endeavors with the 911 side of things. So
10-4.
I'll be putting it in, but we'll see if it gets approved.
I think he's asking you what's the chances of that.
I'm asking the other 6 sitting here.
All right, thank you, Mr. Nance. Okay, Mr. Slauson.
Should we put a QRV in the next budget? That's the question.
I've had a lot of questions.
Okay, I'm sure. We've already done the COLA update. Now, asset inventory and assessment, and then the asset management plan. This is the grant opportunity that we will do. I just want to make sure the board will be in favor of it. As you know, we've been working on asset inventory assessments for the last year and a half or two, and we're moving in the right direction. So the asset management, I think we could get something on the order of $90,000 to $100,000 so the engineers and I will put something together and finalize it. And then if you approve it tonight, we'll submit it to the state. And if they approve it, then we'll get the grant and then we'll start the actual work. So we won't do the work prior to getting the grant.
Okay. Is any questions on the asset inventory assessment, the grant? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve it, or
So moved.
Second.
have a motion by Commissioner Gatewood, second by Commissioner Ellaby. Any other discussions on this? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes.
And it's not on here, but before I turn it over to our assistant county manager, I'd just like to say that after I went down to Cook Law last, I think it was Thursday, signed the paperwork for the 605 McLaurin Street property. It has been closed, and Miss Adams went the next day, picked up the check, brought it back, and so it just ends the coffers of Anson County. And the net
Fast.
was, if I remember right, was $101,470 some odd dollars.
Fastest that check's ever been spent.
Right, sir. And so we are, and so we are actually, as the board has asked us to do, Mr. Addison might have an update, but we're working toward getting the hospital property. There was a couple things with the deed squared away, and so that's being worked on. And then also we've already started the process for the old water plant that the board approved as selling as a surplus property. So that's your property description for tonight.
All right.
Well,
Thank
that
you.
was an excellent process and also an excellent price for that facility. I drove past it yesterday, and I'm not sure what the plans are for it. Do you know?
Yes, sir. The purchaser, I met he and his wife when I was there for the closing, and they are, in the past it was used as two different operations for the county, so it was essentially like a duplex office, and that's what he's going to continue to do after upgrading it. And he's indicated to me he's also interested in the old water plant property.
Good.
Okay. It's good to know we have some interest there.
We have some already, and there probably will be some interest in the old hospital property, I would think.
Well, on McLaurin Street, please convey to Mr. Small and his staff, they did an excellent job in getting that facility ready and listing it on GovDeals and delivering $100,000 plus to the Anson County. See, we already got $100,000 toward our next COLA.
So essentially, you almost
We've done spent the next two projects we're selling too.
All right, so is
I
this
know
revenue
Mr. Small
incoming every year too?
is observing from afar, but and he's already sent me a couple text messages. So he's on the job, even though he's not here tonight. But he's listening, and he knows what we'll have to do tomorrow. Thank you. I'll let him know.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so that concludes your report, so we'll turn over to Mr. Addison.
Afternoon, everyone. So last meeting or 2 meetings ago, Commissioner Gatewood had asked for an update regarding condemnation processes, especially in regards to properties within the town of Wadesboro. The county manager and I met with the town of Wadesboro manager, Wiley Ross, last Wednesday to get an update. Mr. Ross has expressed he believes there to be approximately about 200 properties, structures within the town limits of Wadesboro that would be considered dilapidated or blighted. He is working with their legal counsel to revise their current blight ordinance. And so once those revisions are complete, which he anticipates to be done over the next 3 to 4 months, we'll begin the process of the town working with the county's building inspections department to go through those inspections and public hearings to do condemnations and any remedy actions that can be taken on those properties. Any questions on that?
When you say remedy actions, what do you mean? Could you elaborate?
So ultimately, that would be up to the property owner and the town as to how aggressive the town wants to pursue it. Once it's been declared condemned and blighted, the property owner could seek corrective actions to address whatever issues are discovered. Or the town, if they wanted to take a very aggressive approach, could demolish the property and place a lien on it to recoup the funds spent during demolition. But that would ultimately fall to the town. Now, if it was in the county proper, the unincorporated sections, the county would have that decision.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
And I think what, I was trying to think of the terminology. I think what they did, the town takes it over under eminent domain, and then they can do what they want to with it.
And then the next update is real brief, but it's something that is a long process. Our ACTS department did receive certification from the DOT proficiency review that they have completed the review process, are in full compliance. There are absolutely no deficiencies found during the process, which is great. So Tanya can rest easy for the next 3 years until they come back in late 2028, and we'll start it all over again. But it's a quite intensive review process, several months, and so it's great that we got that back with no deficiencies.
Yeah, I think that's a testament to Ms. Bird and her staff there at ACTS. So I think they do a job well done there.
And then moving forward, since it's a popular topic tonight, I do have a resolution to dispose of the old getting my properties confused, the old utilities department. It's in your packet is the resolution authorizing sale of real property identified as PIN 6474-1297-1471 and PIN 6474-0897-1656.
Make a motion, we approve the resolution.
Second.
All right.
Perfect.
We have a motion by Mr. Gatewood, second by Mr. Ellerby, to approve the sale of the old utilities department, as noted in the agenda packet. Is there any other discussions on that?
I appreciate you writing this up, Nick.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, so we'll get this, now that you've passed the resolution, the public notice is already written. It'll go out in the next edition of the Anson Record. We've already spoken with GovDeals, so Wendell and I will work together and proceed with it going live on GovDeals. I think we said the go live date was April 20th. It's in the resolution, but
I think it was April 20th for 45 days.
yes, April 20th for 45 days with a minimum bid of $40,000. So we'll move forward on that, and
Okay, let's take a vote. So we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor of that, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Now we can move forward with it.
apologies, jumping the gun. The next two are, there have been a lot of, especially for the planning and zoning department, there are malicious actors who do watch the county's web pages and agenda packets. And I just want to give a notice to the citizens. If you receive any notice, generally from any department within the county, asking for a direct wire transfer or payment in gift card or payment in cryptocurrencies, I can almost guarantee you that it is a fraudulent, malicious actor impersonating to be the county. Please contact that department and verify that it is not legitimate. I just received another call today for someone asking for $3,500 for a zoning permit. It is not legitimate, and just want to remind the citizens of that issue so that they are aware. And then the last one is another community matter. The county is in the process of establishing a strategic plan for the county as an entity. And we do have a community survey live right now. It should be live for a few more days. It's been distributed on Facebook. It's on the county webpage. So any community member that wants to give their input regarding the strategic plan of the county, if you would just log in, the survey will take less than 5 minutes. Give us your opinions, and we can take it into consideration as we decide the strategic plan for the county, and which is where we'll acknowledge where the county's at and where we want to go in the future. And that is it for my portion, unless there are any particular questions for me.
Okay. Any questions for either manager at this time? All right. Thank you both for your reports. So at this time, we will move on to the chairman's report. I just have a couple items to go over. First, it's a question basically is I just want to know, I'd like to get an update or when we can expect a update on our solar ordinance. A few months back, we discussed amending our zoning plan to address solar, And so just like to get an update on where we're at in that process.
Yes, so we are currently drafting language to revise the solar facility portions of the zoning ordinance. Right now, the biggest hurdle is the state legislator made changes to 160D regarding down zoning. With the new definitions of down zoning, some of the actions we would want to take, whether it's for a solar facility or a single-family home or a parking lot, it requires the consent of everyone that would impact. So, if we wanted to change language regarding solar facilities, depending on how we craft it, we would have to have solar facilities that exist today in Anson County consent to that change. It's an issue statewide that has plagued a lot of planning and zoning departments since that legislation was enacted about a year ago. So we're working through it, and there's several consortiums and work groups working on zoning language specific to green energy, whether that be solar or hydro or SMRs. There's several consortiums and work groups that I follow. So we are working on it. There's just a few legal aspects we're having to shuffle through.
Okay.
Mr. Anderson, excuse me, what is the approval process for any update that this board wants to pursue?
For a zoning amendment?
Yes.
Once the regulations are finalized, they would go to the planning board for a vote of recommendation of approval or denial. And then from there, it would go to the Board of Commissioners to ultimately approve it or deny it.
And that's the extent of it?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
There is no time period, no, in other words, one vote, and that's it, or?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Anything pursuant to 160D is a little different than, say, if we amended our personnel ordinance. It doesn't have to be heard twice. Simple majority will suffice.
Okay.
Will we need a public hearing?
Yes, there are public hearings and
Right.
published notices. Sorry,
Thank
I
you.
thought you were just talking on the voting
No, that's
process.
fine.
Okay.
Please,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
you go ahead.
But I was just going to ask, so do you have a idea of when we may see some of this language ready? I know there's some complications with 160D, but
I would like to say hopefully by the spring, towards the end of the fiscal year at worst. The complications with 160D regarding downzoning has hampered a lot of jurisdictions regarding revisions. And there seems to be a growing push on legislators to repeal some of that new language.
okay.
So, if we were to want to downsize the acreage for a solar farm to 70 acres or less, it would be held up by 160D, and you'd have to get approval or consideration from all the solar farms in the county existing now.
Yes. The biggest issue now is that any zoning text amendment or map amendment cannot create just hypothetically, just to make it simple. Let's say the current regulations say a solar facility can be 1,000 acres, and we rewrite the rules to say, nope, it can only be a maximum of 500.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they would already be out of compliance, and we've created a nonconformity, so it wouldn't pass muster of 160D's revised regulations. Not only that, now anybody who would be impacted, we have to get their signature as a form of consent. So these recent revisions to 160D have really hamstrung a lot of jurisdictions, and if you read some of the public articles about it, basically what happened, the opinion is it's taken the power away from local government to impose regulations.
And that's not just solar, but that's housing.
That's correct. That's anything
yeah.
that requires a zoning permit,
Yeah.
which is anything over 12 feet.
So, okay. Well, thank you for that. I just wanted to keep that on our minds, keep it up front.
Because I've had somebody, ever since they heard that the solar ordinance update was on the chairman's report, and they were asking and really wanting to know what it was about. They were sure they were hoping for better information than what they just heard, but
Mr. Leary, when you say better information, what do you mean?
Like as far as being able to change the zoning against solar farms.
All right, sooner rather than later.
Yeah, sooner rather than later.
What
yes.
you're saying. All
As
right,
in,
thank you.
I would love to see it change to no 1,000-acre solar farm. So.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Next up, we have a brief, I think it's just a few minutes, video from the Association of County Commissioners. So I think Ms. Adams has that ready.
Hello, Commissioners. I'm Wallace Nelson, NCACC President and Perquimans County Commissioner. I want to take a moment to speak directly to my fellow commissioners and county leaders about our upcoming NCACC district meetings in early March. Quite simply, your presence matters. We're at a critical moment for counties. The decisions being made at the federal and state levels are having real, immediate impacts on our local budgets, our services, and the people we serve. District meetings are more than routine gatherings. They are working sessions that shape how we move forward together. On the agenda, we will be discussing updates on our presidential initiative, key association priorities, and important legislative developments. I want to especially emphasize the legislative updates. We'll be talking about H.R. 1 and its practical implications for our county budgets, especially related to programs like SNAP and Medicaid. We will also dive into ongoing property tax reform discussions at the General Assembly, which could significantly affect how we fund essential county services. These meetings are a great opportunity to hear from each other and to build stronger relationships with fellow commissioners in your districts. So please, join us to share what's happening in your counties, what's working, what's challenging, and where you need support. When attendance is strong, our message is stronger. When we are aligned, our advocacy is more effective. And when we learn from one another, we are better equipped to serve our counties. I know schedules are always busy, but I encourage you to make attending your district meeting a priority. Finally, I would like to mark your calendars for March 27th for our first forum on our presidential initiative, Counties Care, Access to Health Care. We will be meeting in Raleigh to talk about the importance of health care and especially our rural hospitals. More information will follow, but I wanted to make sure you have March 27 on your calendars. So let's come together and lead together for our counties and for the people who depend on us every day. Thank you for all you do for supporting your association. I look forward to seeing you there.
All right. As you noted there at the end, I think our district meeting is March 6th, which is this Friday. So if Mr. Woodburn wants to expound on that.
Okay, yes, our district meeting will be at Randolph Community College in the J.B. and Claire Davis Corporate Training Center. It starts at 10 a.m. and planned to last until 2:30. And the agenda's in the packet, so you can see what the outline of the meeting will be. And the main thing is the breakout sessions. The other thing is they're looking for, each county to share restraints that we might have, some successes that we've had, and how the association can better help each county. So if anything that you'd like me to share, if you're not going to be there, just send me an email or text it to me so that I can get it in my report during that time.
All right. Thank you for that. All right. While we're on that topic, one thing from the association that we probably need to find out more about, and I'm glad Mr. Newton's in the audience. He may know about this. I don't know yet. I read last week that the Senate Majority Leader is contemplating putting a moratorium on revals. Well, information I read said that it was going to go into effect during the short session, which is coming up very soon. And I tried to ask our senator this weekend if he had any information on that, and he didn't tell me whether he did or he didn't. He didn't say a whole lot of, he didn't give me a whole lot of information on it. So I am assuming that if that goes into effect, that will put a pause on our revow that should take effect July 1, correct? And if you'll come to the mic, I'm sorry.
Please.
I thought it would be a quick answer.
Our reval actually went into effect January 1. That was the active date for it actually to take place. Now, how that's going to play into the timeline that they're establishing to do this.
Yep.
And my understanding is they're talking about putting some caps on it. In that kind of
Well,
what you?
that's a separate, I think that's a separate conversation they're having with the committees they formed on property tax reform, which our current senator serves on that committee. But I think this is kind of in addition to that. This just puts the brakes on it altogether until that committee can come up with how they want to kind of go forward with property tax. So I didn't know if you were aware of that.
I'm not.
If it affects this county, we're gonna have to keep that in mind when we go into budget discussions, because obviously we've been planning on a revow and we knew there were some numbers were gonna be different. So if that doesn't take place, that's kind of gonna change a whole attitude of this board, I think.
Yeah. Do you have information that you could send me? Or
I'll send you the article that I read.
Please
Yeah.
do.
Like I said, I tried to get a little more information, but and I don't know if he didn't know or they're just not sharing anything. But it came that the Senate Majority Leader was planning to put in place a moratorium on any revals during the short session, which should take place, I think, April.
Could I get a
my
copy of
concern
that
would
article
be,
as well?
Yeah, I'll send it to the whole board. Yeah.
Thank you.
my concern would be, is it going to be retro?
I have. Yeah, that's why I was trying to ask, but nobody knew.
And I don't know that.
Yeah.
anyway.
And like I said, it's not put in place yet, so that's why they may not have any information on it. That was just an article I got coming out of Raleigh, that it was gonna be brought up in the short session.
It's my understanding, after talking to some of the personnel in the state auditor's office, because they don't just all play with numbers like, so that you would get, they do that, but they also are looking like you and Larry are talking about, the great state of Florida, because they do something, the practice, what you're talking about, they have something called truth. It's called truth in millage rate, which is a trim notice, as they call it down there. And that's exactly what the state auditor's office is looking at doing here. And so it would put a moratorium on it initially, and then they would also have a cap that would limit how much any county after revow or even without revow could raise its taxes every year.
Yep. So I think there's gonna be a lot of information that we gotta learn and digest before before our budget discussion. So, but okay, that's all. I just didn't know if you were aware of that. So.
I'm not. Not
Okay.
specific.
Okay. Well, I'll send you the article along with all the board. Okay. I don't have anything else unless you've got something you just need to.
Well, let me. Can I say a few things about revow?
Sure.
Take a few minutes. I sent that PowerPoint out.
Mhm.
I'm assuming you received it. And you probably have maybe some questions about it, but we're going to post that also on the website.
Yeah, I think that was the PowerPoint we're going to include in in March 17th meeting. So yeah, so we'll go over that in the March 17th meeting if you can do it then.
Yeah,
because we don't have that
I
power.
can bring my report if you want me to in the 17th.
That would be perfect. That way.
And I don't mind. That's fine with me. Okay.
Yeah, that way we got it all in front of us because we don't have it in this packet. We put that in the 17th agenda.
I'm good with that.
Perfect. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Larry.
Okay, the only other thing I have in the treasurer's report, each one of you have an invitation. This is from the Proverbs 226 organization that's out at the prison. It's a invitation to join them March the 10th at 10 a.m. They are going to, this will be inside the correctional facility. They're going to be doing some visits with family and inmates. As you see, the Last Supper, they're going to include the bakery that the Proverbs 226 organization has opened on that campus. So Cyril wanted me to send this out to all the commissioners for an invitation. So you have it, and if you can make it, they'd love to have you there. That is all I have for chairman's report, so open the floor for commissioner concerns.
I have a question.
No, you can go ahead.
I was just wondering about the gravel pit. Is there an update or status of where they at right now?
Are we talking about the quarry?
The quarry, yeah. Gravel
Yes,
pit.
the quarry, the Anson Stone Quarry, they are moving forward with their project. They're still in the process of finalizing and acquiring all of their state permits. To my knowledge, when I last spoke with them, approximately 10 days ago, they had not received their permit from the state yet. So once they receive that, they will have a, ribbon cutting date, so to speak. But until then, they're at a standstill.
Okay.
You want to do that?
And I have another thing. It's Trillium Health Sources. They're partnering with Anson County Commissioners and the Anson County Partnership for Children. They're doing a supportive children early stimulation. It's going to be a stimulation showing the challenges and the issues that families have whenever they're trying to find resources for children with some type of disability. It will be Tuesday, April the 14th at 8:30 till 11:30, and it will be at the Lockhart Taylor Building. And I'm asking all the commissioners to be there. It's a place down here where you can register, so I would please appreciate if you would register to come. And all the public is invited also.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Any other commissioner comments?
I had one thing.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. For Mr. Addison, I had spoke to a citizen on Sunday, still in reference about the 10 for the mobile homes. I know I told him I would mention it again. Maybe you can take it back to the planning board.
Yes, we can present revised language to the planning board regarding utilization of metal for manufactured home underpinning. Yes.
Yeah. Because what he advised me was that brick looking stuff, that 10 is more durable than the whatever it's called. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, I assume he was referring to the ordinance as it written as faux brick or faux stone. The most common, it's just a thick polyresin vinyl that looks like brick or stone. The most common trade name we see around here is a product called K-Rock. And to make it more confusingly, there's another product called Real Rock, but it's not real. It's fake. So,
Fake.
Good marketing strategy.
Yes. So, like I said, right now the ordinance does only allow masonry, or in some cases the faux material. But yeah, we can present new ordinance language to the planning board for consideration.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Woodburn, you had something?
Yes, I guess the only other thing I say about the district meeting, there's 5 districts, and there'll be representatives from counties around the area, some similar to Anson, some not. So there'll be an opportunity to fellowship with commissioners and just see how they're dealing with different issues in their counties. Also, South Piedmont Community College is starting the Veterans Coffee House here at the Lockhart Taylor Center on March the 18th. And there's 3 of them planned, another one in April, another one in May. They're trying to gauge the attendance, and it's for all veterans, so please get the word out. I've gone to the one in Union County. I hadn't been in quite a while now, but I went for about a year and a half, and it's really good. You got the veterans there, you kind of fellowship and kind of talk about things that are going on. And then there's a speaker that will do presentations on information that would be of interest to veterans, and also where you can get different types of help and assistance from. So just keep that in mind. It's going to be on March the 18th from 9 to 11 a.m. to be at Lockhart Taylor Center. So we're trying to get the word out to all the veterans in Anson County.
Okay. Thank you for that update. Any other?
And just one item on Veteran Services Officer. Are we in the process of interviewing, or what's the status?
An offer has been made for that position. They accepted. They did request, due to their nature of their current position, that they have a 30-day notice with their current employer. So we're looking at a potential start date, I want to say early April, for a full-time staff member.
Thank you, Mr. Addison.
Thank you.
I think that's just as an addition whenever we get ready to do a budget. And I'm thinking one of the issues with the Veteran Services Office is just, you know, what they have to do. And I don't know if there's anything that we can provide, like some additional help, maybe on a part-time basis or something along that line. But at any rate, I think when we do a budget, then we might want to look at anything that we can do, because I know when Ms. Lamlin was here, I got regular reports from her just by going to see her and see how things were going. I think I've only been down to see this guy once, but at any rate, with the veteran population we have here, which I think at that time was around 1,600, there was several $1 million that was coming in to the county, to veterans through the VA and veteran benefits. So just thought I'd put that out there.
Just to piggyback off that, our prior VSO, he has received 2 separate grants to be used within that department. And the first iteration, he primarily used it to offset departmental operation costs. The second iteration, which he was awarded, he did put in a small amount to cover staff salaries.
Good.
Now, the grant is structured in such a way that it cannot be used for current staff, but it can be used for new staff. Now, he had submitted that prior to his letter of resignation. So, and he's still working with the county on a limited basis. But one thing we're exploring is revising that grant proposal so that we can create a part-time, term-limited position dependent upon annual grant award.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for that update. Any other commissioner concerns? All right, hearing none, we do have 2 items to discuss in closed session, so I'll entertain a motion to enter into closed session.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Mims, second by Commissioner Ellaby's fine. All in favor, say aye.
We need some cake. No, we need some cake.
Whatever, let's go ahead.
All right. We have a motion to come out of closed session by Commissioner Woodburn, second by Commissioner Gatewood. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We are now back in the open session. Any other business to conduct tonight?
Make a motion. Second.
We have a motion to adjourn by Commissioner Gatewood, second by Commissioner Ellaby. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned.